Hey, how's it going, everybody? Scott Spreitzer here with Doug Upstone. We are DocSports.com. It is SEC Weekly. Doug and I here each and every week throughout the college football season talking SEC football and featuring basically 3 games per week. I think we went 2-1 last week, so we'll take that each and every week throughout the course of the year. Doug, let's jump into an ACC-SEC clash on Saturday. That's NC State, who's laying 2.5 to Mississippi State, total 55.5. The books I check with have been lopsided as far as the betting so far in this one. Over 80% of the tickets and the money, both, are on the Wolfpack thus far. And we have seen a couple of threes popping up from time to time in a couple of shops. I've got about 1 million books on my line service, and would see them every once in a while, shop here and there, popping up a 3. But right now, Doug, for the most part, it is NC State laying 2.5. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, in this one, Scott, I'm actually looking more towards the total on this one. And the reason being is, Mississippi State had their greatest fourth quarter comeback ever. Down 34 to, 14, scored 21 points in the fourth quarter to win the game 35-34 over Louisiana Tech. Now, NC State's defense is not going to fall apart like Louisiana Tech's, okay? Even though they're still playing where all those cowbells are. They're not going to be, I don't believe, as bothered by that, coming into this game. NC State, you could make a case, that right now, especially in light, at least for this week, in light of how North Carolina looked, they might be the second best team in that conference, okay, right now. Got a lot of good options in terms of what they can do in terms of scoring. Devin Leary is supposed to play. He did not play last week at quarterback, but if you remember him from last year, Scott, he did a heck of a job until he got hurt. So they have a nice looking offense. Mississippi State, they're a passing team. That's what they're going to do. They didn't play terribly on defense. They had 4 turnovers last week, so that wasn't the whole thing. But I'm looking at this game at the 55.5, and I'm just not convinced that it's going to go above it in spite of Mississippi State's potential scoring prowess. The offensive line for North Carolina State can dominate, okay? The defensive line, I think, of Mississippi State. And so if that means less crowd noise, shortens the game. Mississippi State also is 17-6 under. When the total is 52.5 to 56, and they're 12-2 under in Starksville after they've committed 4 more turnovers, Scott. So I like the under in this one at the 55.5. Are you on the side or are you in the total, Scott?
Well, I'm going to start by saying this and get this out of the way, and I'll probably find some pirate lovers who hate me when I say this. I am not a Mike Leach fan. Okay, that doesn't mean he can't win 7 or 8 games a year. That's what he does. 7, maybe 8 games a year, pulls off that one big upset per year, basically, and gets his name inked everywhere, and everybody talks about what a great coach he is. He's not a great coach. That's my opinion. He is not a good coach. He's an okay coach. He's going to get you to mediocrity, and by mediocrity, maybe a little above that, to where you are normally vying for a bowl berth at the end of your regular season. It was funny. Last week when Miss State was struggling, it looked like they might lose that game. I had a fellow better friend of ours who was texting me. We were texting back and forth. And I guess it's because we know each other and that the fact that we think Mike Leach is overrated. And so we were texting each other back and forth about, here he goes again. Mike Leach, his team's going to struggle against the teams he's supposed to beat. And they're going to probably pick somebody off during the course of the year, a team they're supposed to lose to. And that's how he keeps getting jobs. But listen, the bottom line is it's really tough to judge the Bulldogs off of that game. They committed too many turnovers. You already mentioned they committed a bunch of turnovers. They committed 12 penalties in that game. They're not a disciplined football team. Guess who's the coach? I just mentioned his name. NC State, they got a gift of an opener last week, but they have a ton of quality experience back in the mix. And really, I think it's going to be a close game to the line. And I'm with you on this particular game, Doug. I like the under here. I think you're going to see a game that lands in that 48 to 51 range. And again, it's 55.5. I do believe NC State's going to be able to kind of run the football a little bit more, not have to pass the ball too much, keep that clock running. And when they do, unless Mississippi State commits a half a dozen turnovers again and creates short field situations for the Wolfpack, then it should stay under that posted total. So we're looking at the same thing here as far as this total is concerned, Doug.
Yeah, I think it's the right call on this one. And to be perfectly honest, Scott, I actually looking at we're filming this actually on Wednesday, and I'm looking at the side as a potential play on this as well. So we'll see how that plays out, and that'll go towards what we're looking to accomplish here at Docs for this next week. Now, how did you do, Scott? We haven't talked. How did you do last week? I really have no idea, to tell you the truth.
Well, last week we went 2-1. I missed the sweep. BYU had a 90-second, I guess you could say, just a 90-second mistake that cost them the sweep. Cost us the sweep. They were leading, I believe it was like 24-3. And what happened was they over a 90-second period they took a safety on the ensuing kickoff. The other team scored, which was Arizona, and then they went for 2 and got it. And that was basically the difference in the football game and not getting the sweep. But having said that, it's the NFL. We haven't even mentioned yet. The NFL starts this week, not just college football. It's going to be a multiple game package. I ended up on only 3 plays last week, which was pretty normal for me for the first week of the season. But we've also got NFL. And now we are on a run that is 22-8 in college and pro football. Going back even further, the last 620 combined releases in college and pro football, 58% against the spread. Check out Tony George and I. We cut our marquee matchup, and it was the Steelers and Bills. We'll talk a little bit more of NFL on that particular video. But I did want to mention, folks, I am back in. I'm in the Circa contest. I'm in the Westgate Super contest, and I will be talking about that throughout the course of the season, even if it's not going well, which we haven't had to worry about that for several years now. We've turned $1,500 into $25,000 just a couple of years ago at the Westgate. You know what, Doug? I'm going long here, but I'm going to tell you something. I was in that contest, I think it was 3 years ago. There's about 4,100 people in the contest, finished 16th. I was a game and a half away, a point and a half away from 75,000, won 25,000. I'm not complaining about 25K, but that shows you how competitive that actual contest and now the Circa actually is. Anyway, I'm going on and on. People can find my plays all weekend long over at DocSports.com. The football plays will be posted for Thursday. Doug, how about yourself?
Yeah, Scott, the last week was a mixed bag for me, to be honest. I hit my 6-unit play, which was my top play of the week on Georgia with the upset, but the rest of the card wasn't a winning week. So you know what? It was week 1. We move on. We look to get better. And week 2, we got a lot more information to work with. So that's a big positive. And, going back, you mentioned going back, not 600 plays, I'll be honest, but if you go back 69 plays in college football, for me, 42 and 27, that's a little over 60%. So let's just get ready to dial it up again this week and get it done. I got a 7-unit play going this week for sure.
Awesome. And that $60 free account banner that everybody sees, tie that into what we're talking about, because the link below the video, you click on that if you're not yet a member at Doc Sports, and then you can set yourself up for that $60 free account. You can get Doug's daily packages with that $60 free account. You can apply it towards that. You can apply it towards my daily free packages, football or whatever, and also with everybody else on the roster at DocSports.com. So check that out. He's Doug. I'm Scott. We are DocSports.com. Let's put him in the win column.